And welcome to Tips with Andrew. I am Andrew Sapiano. Thank you so much for joining me on this happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Hope you guys are having an awesome week so far. I hope you guys are rocking out whatever you're deciding to do. I hope you guys are enjoying, or I hope you're ready for the weekend. The weekend's almost here. What do we got? 2, 3 days left. So yeah, what a beautiful day we have out there today. It's another one of those sunny but not too cold days, right? So the sun is making it hot, and it's one of those deceiving days where you go out thinking that it's super cold, and then you get out there and it's really hot, and you're like, oh man, this is this is not going to be a fun rest of the trip. Quick update, I am in the finishing touches of putting together my weight loss course for beginners. If that's something that you're interested or somebody that you know of is interested in, definitely drop me a comment. We'll get you some early bird access. There's tons of cool stuff that goes along with that, and we'll get you rocking and rolling. What I wanted to talk about today is a little bit about, I've been getting a few questions about this, so I figured I'd jump on here and help you out with it. Yoga, people are starting to do yoga, continuing to do yoga. I guess it's this now, it's not so much a new thing that's happening. It's this, nice craze that's going around, and it's actually a really interesting way to incorporate exercise into your daily routine without having that whole gym membership, weights, working out, all that fun stuff that comes along with working out, right? So a lot of people can get deterred by that simply because they, there's a whole thing involved with gym memberships and clothing and exercising and all the stuff that comes along with it. It can be very overwhelming, and it can also be one of those things like when do I even have the time to do any of this? So that's where yoga is really great for weight loss, promoting wellness in your life, right? Helping your body and your organs to sort of do what they do naturally. Speeding up your metabolism, helping you sleep better. There's a whole bunch of plethora of benefits that come along with doing yoga. So that's where I wanted to come on, give some tips. But as a beginner, there is some tips that we need to know, that we need to be aware of. And so that's where I come in. So, I want to share them with you. Hopefully they help. Hopefully you get some value out of them. And let's get rocking. Tip number one is to plan around your schedule. This is really the base of it, right? I like this that I put this one on here first. This is it more than anything. We are trying to incorporate a new routine into our daily habits, and we live busy lives, right? So we don't always have time to add more stuff to our life, right? We are at a lot of times looking to subtract, looking to sort of deflect, right? Defer, right? If you will. We've heard a lot of that term lately, but this is really the basis of it, because if you don't plan around your schedule will come back to plan around you, and the things that aren't really that, I want to say, motivating to you, or that weren't really incorporated into your daily habits to begin with, are going to take a back seat. They're not going to be something that's at the forefront of your mind. It's not going to be something that you're interested in continuing doing. So that's why we have to plan around your own schedule, figure out what works for you, right? If you can do every day. One of the things that I read more than anything was you can actually get benefits of 3 times a week, 2, 3 times a week, just doing an hour sessions, right? So if that's something that you can incorporate into your life, right? Once, twice, maybe 3 times a week, definitely start with there. What if you can do more, definitely try and do more. Don't force yourself to do more, just do what you can with what you've got. So if you can only do once a week, start with once a week. If you can do more than that, do more than that. One of the things you're going to want to take into consideration is you're gonna if you're just starting, you're gonna feel a little bit sore right after, right? So we're gonna want to take that into consideration, maybe incorporate a rest day, perhaps a little bit less the next time we go, because that's one of the things that can deter us from wanting to keep doing it, is the pain that we feel after doing it. So that's why we plan around your schedule. I plan for you being hurt, right? You being a little bit sore after your first session or two, depending on how much you do it. And so that's something that you need to think about. You need to take into consideration when you keep going, right? There's going to be tough points, times where parts of your bodies that you didn't even know had parts are hurting, and you need to get over that. You need to do something. You need to do what you can to get over that, because that's it's going to be more beneficial to keep going. One of the least beneficial things is to go and then stop because it hurts and then try and pick up a little bit later, because you're just going to hurt yourself again. It's the way that it happens. Your muscles that don't get used all the time end up getting sore and hurting when you overuse them, right? So pick a time around your schedule. Figure out what your schedule looks like, then figure out where you can insert times to do things, right? So if you don't plan around your schedule will end up getting too hectic for you to continue on a consistent basis. That's what we're looking for more than anything, is the consistency. Keep doing it at a consistent rate always, and that way your body knows that this is something that you're trying to incorporate. You're trying to keep up the habit, and it will form your life around that. It's actually really interesting. Number 2 is to get proper equipment. I like this one. What did I read about shoes? Shoes don't make running better, but they definitely help a lot, and that's where I mean, in the sense of, get proper equipment. Get a yoga mat. I definitely suggest a yoga mat. If you can't get that, try and do like a blanket or something. Working out on the floor, right? The hardwood floor is not fun. If you're doing concrete, right? It's not fun. It's not enjoyable really at all, and it's going to be something that will deter you from keeping going. If you're Because it's gonna hurt, right? So as much as a yoga mat's not it's not what's the word I'm looking for? A necessity. It's going to help a lot more, and it's going to be more beneficial, because it's going to help. It's going to be more comfortable for you to do, or to keep going, right? So I don't know, maybe I'm the weirdo that when something hurts me, I tend to not keep doing it, right? So I tend to gear more towards what doesn't hurt me and what feels relatively good, right? So that's why a yoga mat's going to be huge. It just makes the ground softer. It makes you want to go back to do it. It'll also help with pain, alleviate pain after the fact, right? So it's very easy for us to have a backache after, because of the hardwood floor, right? Another one, consider your pants, right? Pants and your shirt. It's very easy to just throw on a pair of sweatpants or some jeans or whatever and try and work out like that. But I promise you, again, it's going to be so much easier if you get, the right type of pants, shorts even, right? I don't do working out in pants. I tend to get really sweaty and really hot really quickly. So that's why I gear more towards the shorts. But again, a dress shirt like this, I wouldn't suggest trying to work out in. Find a t-shirt, perhaps a dry fit shirt, right? One of the baseball jerseys, shirt things that they use. They're really great for breathing, allowing your body to breathe, allowing your your pores to do what they need to do, as opposed to just keeping the heat and the sweat all inside. What else are we looking at? Shoes maybe aren't a necessity if you're doing it inside, but if you're doing it perhaps in your garage or something, or on the balcony, right, where it's nice and sunny, you definitely want to consider a nice pair of shoes, running shoes, right? We don't want to do it in high top boots or high heels, right? Definitely not. That would be a little bit, it'll just make it harder, right? And you want to make it as easy as possible. So that's where we're looking at proper equipment, right? Running shoes, the right kind of pants, the right kind of shirt, perhaps a headband, right? If you tend to sweat a lot. I know for me, I tend to sweat a lot, so I would probably want to think about some sort of headband. But that's really all we're looking for, right? This is the one good thing about yoga is you don't actually need a whole lot of equipment, right? Tools to work with. You can literally just work with a mat and then the right set of clothing, right? So definitely get the proper equipment. Like I said, this isn't a necessity, but it's definitely going to make it easier on you to want to keep going. Number three is to know some basic poses. I like this one because it can be yoga is definitely anything like exercising. It is, there is not too much different about it. So what we want to do is we want to know correct poses. We want to know how to do certain things. We want to know the proper form. One of the things that I stress more than anything with working out is proper form, right? Because you can do so much more in your exercise, in your workout, when you have proper form. When you don't have proper form, you're going to risk injury. You're going to do a lot less with your workout. You're going to, you're just going to strain yourself a lot more. Proper form is everything, right? And knowing a few basic poses are going to be a great way for you to keep momentum. Because when you know the poses, you're doing it properly. And when you're doing it properly, you're getting benefit from it, and you're not hurting as much, and you're actually more motivated to keep going. So that's where a few basic poses, and there's not 10, 12, 15 that you need to know, right? You're looking for 4, maybe 5, right? Maybe even 3. You're not looking for so many that you can't remember, especially with all the names. Oh, the names would get you right everything. So definitely do your research. Try and do a couple of master a couple of poses. Look up the proper form. Research what you're supposed to look like, how it's supposed to feel, to look, to the whole thing, right? Definitely do your research, because that will help you from injuring yourself, and it'll actually benefit you a lot more. My next one is to start small. I love this one because all the time, right? When we're trying something new, or even when you wake up and you decide you're disgusted with yourself, we tend to want things to happen right away, right? We are creatures of, instant gratification, right? When we do something, we want instant gratification. When we go to work, we want instant gratification. When we start a new weight loss plan, we want instant gratification. When we eat that salad, we want to instantly be 10 pounds less. If only, right? I would love that too. But that's where we need to understand that we need to start small. And something like incorporating exercise into your daily routine is huge. So we want to start a little bit with what we can, right? This goes back to my first point, where plan around your schedule. You don't want to incorporate a whole new routine, where you have to do an hour and a half or 2 hours every day, or else you're not going to feel complete, because your schedule, more often than not, right off the bat, doesn't allow for that. It doesn't, incorporate new things into your schedule, right? Because you're busy. You have a lot going on already. And when you're trying to incorporate new things, it's just going to take a little bit of time for your brain and your body to understand that this is something that you want to keep going with, right? I heard something like 28 days, give or take, is how long it takes to build a new habit and to form a new habit. So for the next 28 days, right, we are going to have to do this on a daily basis or on a consistent basis with what we can, in order for our bodies to know that this is something we want to keep going. So that's where we start really small, right? And I'm talking like 1 or 2 moves a day, right? Maybe you just start with 1 session a week, and we see how our body reacts to that, and then we go from there. What's another one that we could do is just learning basic poses, right? Just trying for, I don't know, 10 15 minutes to master the one pose, right? So that's what I mean in the sense of starting small. And not it's just incorporating what you can with what you got on a consistent basis to keep the momentum, right? We want to be consistent because consistency allows us to keep momentum going. So that's gonna be the benefit right there. When we keep going, we keep being consistent, and we keep on keeping on, if you will. That's where the benefit's gonna come from. It's not gonna come from you just doing a whole bunch one day and then expecting instant results to happen. I wish, I really do wish, but I'm sorry to say that's probably not possible. My next tip. So yoga for beginners. Tip number 1, plan around your schedule. Tip number 2, proper equipment. Get proper equipment. Number 3, know some basic poses. Number 4, start small. Number 5, consider an online class. I like this one because everything is better with a buddy, and you can always try and do stuff on your own, but it really becomes much easier when you have a class of people, or when you have a buddy, an accountability partner, right? Somebody counting on you, somebody that's interested in doing what you're doing with you. So that's why I recommend an online class. Online class, especially nowadays, we can't really do too much, but I love it. Tina and I, what do? We set up the computer and we hook it up to the TV, and then that way we're literally just watching TV as opposed to trying to find something, on the computer screen or watch it on your phone or something like that. It's going to be cool, but it's going to be a lot more beneficial when you can have it on a big screen, right? You feel like you're part of the class. You feel like, everything's working the way that you want it to work. And like I mentioned, it's always better with a buddy. This is where I also say, though, before this, is to know a couple of basic poses, because it can be very, it can be very overwhelming and stressful when you see a bunch of, experts or intermediates that know what they're doing, and you spend half of your class trying to look around to see what everybody else is doing, and how they're looking and what this person is doing. And, my watch just vibrated. I think I got a text message. I have to be at this place over here. And that's why you just spend the time, know a couple of basic poses, really master a couple of basic poses, and then try an online class. But don't then try an online class, right? Don't wait until you're a master, because everybody's got to start somewhere. And as much as you might spend your whole class just looking around at what everybody else is doing to try and make sure that you're sort of on point, it can be a great learning lesson, because you can understand what people are doing, and now next time you're going to be a little bit better, and the next time you're going to be a little bit better, and then the next time you're going to be a little bit better, and you're going to keep getting better because you're being consistent and you know what you're doing and you're fitting it into your routine, right? So that's why just start small, join an online class. Everything's better with a buddy, so try it out. It will definitely help your motivation and your accountability. My next tip is to make a commitment, right? At a certain point, we need to throw out all of the facts and the motivational speeches and why you should do this and the scientific research and blah, 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 right? At a certain point, we need to just make a commitment. We need to understand that this is something that we want to do to better our life. This is something that we need to do to better our life. And if we want to live a better life, we have to do something to help from an inside out, right? We only have one body, and we only have one life. That's the quote, right? We only have one life to live, but if you live it properly, you only need one life. So nobody wants to be saddled with disease and sickness and illness and all that. But that only happens when you make a conscious effort of trying to be better, do better, you make a commitment that this is something that you're going to change, right? This is a new direction that you're going in your life. This is something that you want to happen and you want to keep going. And from this moment on, no matter what your excuses are, you're going to rise above your excuses because you made a commitment to yourself. And this is one of the things, this is one of the reasons that I preach accountability partners, because we can always be so easy on ourselves, like, oh, don't worry about it. You're busy, or you're stressed, or you're tired, or whatever. We always have an excuse for why we can't do something. That's why we need an accountability partner, but that's also why we need to make a commitment. When we make a commitment and we understand why we're doing something, what our end goal is, that just gives us the motivation because there is going to be times where we want to give up, where there's trials and tribulations, where stuff doesn't seem to be going as fast as we would like it to. Like I mentioned before, we eat one salad. Why am I not down 10 pounds? The whole thing isn't even worth it, right? So that's where we need to understand we need to be bigger than our problems. I read something that if everybody in the world took their problems and put it in a big pile, everybody would take their own problems and stumble back to their own house with their tail between their legs, because your worst day is somebody's dream day. So commit, understand that this is your life. You're awesome. You can do it. Get it done. And then my last tip, more than anything, is essential oils. I love using essential oils for everything in life, and this is no different. Actually, DoTerra has this cool thing. It's a yoga collection, so it's a few oils that DoTerra put together to help with a yoga routine. Right, comes in this nice cool box. I like the box. It's got a nice magnetic top thing here. So it's really cool, right? And then it comes with 3 oils inside. So the first one is Anchor, which is the steadying blend. So these are actually great to use in conjunction with yoga, so that you can help your well-being and your emotions get more motivated. So the steadying blend, that's what I mean right there. This is what I love more than anything about doTERRA, is you can kind of realize what the blends are used for based on their name. So when you see steadying blend, when you need to be calm, relaxed, little bit, getting a little bit overwhelmed in life. What do we need? Centering blend, a centering blend, so that when you need a little bit more calm in your life, when you need some more focus, right? And the last one is the enlightening blend, Arise. Enlightening, right? When you need some motivation, when you need a little pick me up, because life gets rough every now and then, and every once in a while we do need a little bit of pick me up. That's all I got for you for today. My tips for yoga for beginners: plan around your schedule, get proper equipment, know some basic poses, start small, try an online class, make a commitment, and then if all else fails, try essential oils. I guarantee they will help you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you got some value out of this. Feel free to share this with your friends, a family member, perhaps somebody from your team that you feel needs to hear this. If you'd like to learn more about essential oils or how to get your hands on some of this cool stuff that I'm talking about, definitely drop me a comment, send me a message, and we'll get you rocking and rolling. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you guys have an awesome rest of your Wednesday. Rock out the rest of your week, and I look very forward to talking to you again. I love you guys. Bye for now.